Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I really hope you enjoy this video. So how many of you guys need uplifting, a boost in your faith, or a reminder how to tap into the measure of faith that God already gave to you, that is on loan to you? Okay, maybe I can help you do that today, hopefully. Okay, so I got two things to update on. There were two, one was a vision, and then the other one was a prophetic dream. And both I have. Both I released this year around about the same time. So this is kind of it's boosting my faith, I know. But I had given a word about the LAX breaking in half, where I saw the earthquake, but the Lord told me not to use the word earthquake in with the prophecy. And some things that I am shown, I have never seen these places or things before. They are in existence. They could be as is or used as a representative, or they will be a part of it, of the overall happenings, the overall prophecy. Okay, so this looks like it's one of those cases with the LAX. I was not aware it existed. I really had no idea. I didn't know where the place was at, and the three letters is all I got. And I thought, well, what is that? What is that? What does that even mean? So I felt pretty stupid when I looked it up, and I was like, oh, whoops. But he does show things to small children, and it is the place I saw on one of the areas of that airport. And so I saw this thing, and the earthquake was so bad that it split it, virtually in half. But he said, don't use that word. It is a shaking, and the ground shook, the air shook, everything shook. Everything shook there. And so in the vision, so I didn't quite know how to take that. So okay, when you have a shaking, and the prophecy comes out just like that as it is given, because it's not like we choose the words, right? So a shaking so great that it will split, it will break LAX in half. What happens? What does broke mean? So that was the example that I used, possibly that companies would, or LAX, because that's what the Lord had shown me, could go bankrupt. And I really didn't understand how that could be. They're always getting bailouts and stuff like that, but and everything was getting started back going in the country. So I didn't really see how that could even begin to come to pass. Well, if you've been watching the news for the past month, then you will already know that it is, yes, everything is possible through God. Let me tell you, because there has been a great shaking, not with just LAX, because within 2 days they had 2 people flip out. One guy drove straight through a fence and was driving down a runway. He had a death wish. There was another one, flipped his wig on the plane. started jumping up and down. Stop the plane! Stop the plane! Tried to get in the cockpit. Airline attendants being assaulted, people flipping out, in other different airline companies. And so they're taking a very powerful hit because they are having to cancel all of these flights. They're taking all of these restrictions and adding it on to the flights. And you know just as well as I do, not everybody in this country is going to be jumping at the chance to get the vaccine. They don't want it. They do not want it. They told my daughter she had to have a passport just to go from Alabama to Washington. Yeah, she would still have to have a passport. And she would still have to get the vaccine. And no, she is refusing it. She said, no, I'm not letting them bully me. No. She said, they can forget it. So, I mean, she is really dead set against this thing. Her husband's a doctor, you know. And she still says no. No, she knows better. And so, yeah, a lot of problems come into the airline industry. So possibility, yeah, they may go bankrupt, a lot of them, breaking the rich man. So anyway, we have that, and we're starting to see that. I mean, there is a great shaking to the international flights, and that's all LAX is. That's all. The X really doesn't stand for anything. They just had to have the letter, but the X would be International Airport. Los Angeles is just where it's at. Los Angeles, LAX is just one of the biggest in the country. I think it's like maybe the third one. It's something like that. Anyway, we're starting to see a remnant of that. And I hate to say it, all these people flipping out, which I've seen where people have videoed others on a plane flipping out like that, not allowing them to proceed with the flight and telling them stop the plane, there's something wrong with the plane, and they end up being something wrong with the plane. Now, how did they know? A disruption. It is a pure disruption. This is just how God works, y'all. This is just how He works. We have to open our eyes to see it, but it's right there, because it's like, oh, whoa, go Lord, And sometimes, it's not Him, but sometimes it is, and we tend to miss things. Okay, the second dream. Okay, now this is the more, what? No. Where I had the prophetic dream about Trump in the campaign van. It might have been February, March. It was probably March. I'm not really sure when I released that dream, but I had that. Everybody was disheartened. They thought the prophecies were wrong. It was, more or less, some of the voices were wrong on the timeline. They put their timing and not God's timing on something, and they did not want to accept that God was taking us the long way around by raising up wicked men. Okay? But we would plunder the Egyptians at the same time. And so, we've seen all this stuff. Babylon has come to roost for a little bit, and so, they're going to be brought down. They're going to be reduced to nothing. And we're going to get to see it. Yay, God, right? You know, there's no other greater time to be alive than now, except for when Christ himself walked. That's what I think. Hard times or not. Okay, so with the campaign van dream, right? Campaign van. I've been so excited all morning, y'all. I'm about out of breath. This is how great it is. Okay. Former President Donald Trump on Saturday was in Ohio for a campaign rally. Alabama Republicans were on hand to discuss Trump's return to the state of Alabama in the near future. I had the good fortune, along with former state senator Shadrach, I ain't joking, y'all, Shadrach McGill, to participate in President Donald J. Trump's first campaign rally since he left the White House, said Alabama Republican Executive Committee member, former state representative Perry Hooper Jr. R. Montgomery. You see, at the time of the dream, he was in a white cargo van. There was no message on the van, but it was a campaign van, because I got a word off of it. The Lord will give you single words to describe an entire understanding of what you're seeing in a whole. I mean, it was explanatory of everything. He was wearing solid white. Now, what this means is that he had been stripped. He was sitting in the passenger seat. He wasn't leader anymore. He wasn't in the driver's seat. But the driver I was not allowed to see. The Lord was the driver. I see a lot of times you don't get to see the Lord. There's somebody there that you're not allowed to see, and you know you're not allowed to see them, but they're not bad, you know. And there's revelation that comes with it. That's the Lord. So he was controlling the steering wheel of that blank van. So the blank outside of the van, there was no message about what his campaign slogan would be, because it was starting to form. He was gathering up information at the time. So everything, and his clothes had been stripped of any color, any notoriety, honor. He had been stripped. So he had suffered the same thing that Nebuchadnezzar suffered for his pride and exalting himself. Everybody complains about that, right? Well, they kind of was right. But he went through that. God used that to shape and mold the servant even more, because this is the man. And then, even though he rose up, the evil, wicked Babylonians, in the book of Habakkuk, they was only torn down right before the very eyes of the Israelites. So it's a faith movement. It is a faith movement. You have little prophecies coming to pass like this, and it's to instill faith, because you can't deny what's been said and what you see take place with your very eyes. You don't have just a book reading it. See, it's more profound. You don't have just a book reading it out of a book that come from 2,000 years ago. Well, I think this is meant for today. This sounds like a prophecy being fulfilled today. You have prophecies coming to pass 6 months later, and you are hearing it out of the mouth God used. Oh my gosh. So it gives you a really good idea about what God's hand is really doing, you know, because we are trying to play spiritual warfare here, and I know, yes, we have to partake some in spiritual warfare, but sometimes it is the hand of God we are fighting, because it boosts our faith when we see the Babylonians being torn down, even though we don't like the Babylonians being in leadership. But he is also seeing to it that we benefit from them being there. And I mean, some people are like, them little old checks wasn't enough. Hey, I went shopping. I ain't gonna lie. I went shopping on mine. I took it gladly. I was like, woo, yes. I was praising the Lord. You know, I like spending money. I am not going to lie about it. So I praise God for every single bit of this. And I think it's like, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. It makes me giggle. You know, I get so excited. And I get great joy about what he's really doing. Not the bad stuff, because that's just a piece of the pie. He works it all together for me, for you. But one thing that we are losing sight of, we cannot only preach the gospel just to each other. That's selfish. That's not what we're here for. We come for the lost sheep. I am not here by my own authority. I should have been dead a long time ago. But by the grace of God, I'm not. You know, there are still more towns that I have to reach. Because I get excited even with the crappy situations. Don't you think somebody that is sitting there contemplating suicide, don't you think that they would love to have some of that? And I would love nothing more than to impart that. And the closer I stay to God, I don't care how much they try to hide it. I can sniff them out like a dog. I go straight to them. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to try to perceive who's there. I don't have to, stare at somebody for 10 minutes and try and watch their body language. It's just automatic. Something's wrong. And then I move in like a thief. I can stand there and speak the gospel to them 15, 20 minutes. They don't even believe in God. Speak the gospel to them for 20 minutes. And they're like, wow, I never thought of life like this. Yeah, man, you should read the Bible. Jesus had a lot to say. So, that's what Jesus took all that stuff for, y'all. He gave us words of wisdom. Every time something bad happens to us, he's with us. He suffers it too. He has had to suffer with us since the beginning. Since the beginning, he had to suffer with us. When we were cursed to feel the pain from childbirth and having children, we had to know what God felt like when we disobeyed and treated him like he was nothing, or looked at him like he was nothing, thought of him like he was nothing, like he was dirt beneath our feet. We had to know how he felt. That's like some of that is said to be some of the worst pain you could ever suffer, aside from being crucified. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope this increased your faith. We got something really big coming. He calls this a faith movement. So apparently they happen periodically. This is not words of faith. No, this is moves of God faith. He is saying, watch this. I'm going to have somebody speak something to you and then I'm going to make it happen. Because you're over here oohing, oh my gosh. Well, I guess everything is possible through God. And then, boom. There's the big present. Yeah. There's the grand finale right there. I mean, he drops a bomb on you, and it's something even bigger. But he's got to divert your attention away, boost your faith in him, and then he moves in with something completely different and off the wall. And sudden. It's going to be as fast as lightning. Anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.